Good morning, all, and thanks for joining Thales' Innovation Martlesham Breakfast webinar. In an increasingly digitalized world, your data is your wealth. So how can you discover, protect, and control this wealth? Today's presenters are myself, Nilly Pegg. I am responsible for Thales' data protection business to and through BT. I help BT and BT's end customers formulate and implement best-in-class data protection strategies. Hamplova is Thales' security consultant lead. Romy is going to be the main presenter today. Would you like to say a few words, Romy?
Thank you. Thank you. I've been working with Thales for quite a few years now, helping our UK and Ireland-based customers with their data security strategy, and really looking forward to share with you some of the observations and the experience I've had over the years.
Thank you. So today's agenda is, I will start by giving you some information about Thales. Afterwards, Romy will explain the data security challenges and how Thales can help resolve them. Thales is a large technology company with over 80,000 employees and presence in 68 countries. We are trusted by businesses and governments around the world to protect their most mission-critical assets and infrastructure. Thales has four main businesses, as you can see on this slide: aerospace, space, defense and security, and digital identity and security. And as summarized on this slide, we are a global leader in each of these business areas. Romy and I represent Digital Identity Security Global Business Unit, and we are part of Cloud Protection and Licensing, which is part of this business unit. As you can see on this slide, again, we are a market leader in data protection as well. We are a global team of 2,500 passionate security professionals working with more than 30,000 customers across a wide range of industries. Just as an example, our technology helps protect more than $5 trillion in financial transactions between banks around the world every day. And we secure most valuable corporate and government information. You heard this on the webinar title, and you will hear it throughout this presentation. Our mission is discover, protect, and control sensitive data. Our business is cybersecurity. We believe that whatever companies and organizations do to protect their most sensitive data, it's very likely to get breached, hacked, stolen. Our motto is to make sure that the data is still secure after a breach. How do we do this? We do this by encrypting the data and keeping the encryption keys away from the data itself. So even if the data is accessed, it's of no use to anyone because it cannot be decrypted without the encryption keys. Many of the most recognized brands in the world trust Thales to protect their most sensitive data. As you can see on this slide, industry leaders in all verticals rely on Thales solutions. Now, I would like to hand over to Romy to tell you more about the challenges we help resolve and how we do it. Over to you, Romy.
Thank you so much, Nilly. Thank you. So as Nilly mentioned, I will first start and guide you and walk you a bit through why data matters, and mainly the understanding of the data security challenges, and then look a bit more into how we have been helping customers with those challenges. In terms of the data, it is becoming a standard on the market that data is the new oil, data is the new crown jewels in organizations. And it has become also a standard thing to see on the news that maybe there are data breaches, that there are challenges with data sovereignty and data security in general. As a result of that, customers and organizations are faced by two types of pressures. First are the external ones. There is an interesting link between data breaches and compliance and regulations, because more data breaches there are on the market, the more organizations try to regulate the data security. That's why we now have data security and data privacy laws worldwide, which are spanning close to 2000s actually, which is quite challenging for many organizations to navigate through it, to know what data they have and how they need to protect them based on those privacy and security regulations. As a result of that, because data has bigger value, there is actually increased data breaches as well. So it's a bit of a chicken and egg situation in the market, which puts even more and more increased pressure on our customers and on the organizations in general. The second one is the internal challenges and internal difficulties. Um, we all know that data is, exploding. We have devices generating a lot of information automatically. It's not just people themselves. And a lot of this information can be actually sensitive, whether it's for persons or whether it's for organizations themselves. The fascinating fact for me is that in average, organizations have around 50 data security and cybersecurity tools, which is an incredible number. All these tools then need to be managed, they need to be controlled, and it creates a lot of challenges for our for the organizations. And last but not least, we know that over 80% organizations are already in hybrid cloud or multi-cloud type of infrastructure, but the complexity they have in the environment is another big challenge for the organizations to be able to actually control the data and the security of it across the complex environments. As a result, many companies today would come to us and talk about limited visibility. And what I mean by that is visibility not just about the tools, but mainly about the data, knowing where the data are and on which format is typically the number one step to know how to protect it and to have an effective data security strategy. The second challenge is often the siloed products, processes, or teams, um, and the need to control it from potential centralized locations, being able to enforce the security policies the organizations have. So where do we fit? How can we help? Um, we are asked to join customers' projects, and it's mainly around 3 points, as Nilly mentioned, and you have heard and read about in the webinar description. We help organizations to discover, protect, and control their data. We it the discover is about visibility, getting them the visibility in the hybrid environment, making sure that they can see structured or unstructured data so that they know what kind of policy they need to apply on top of those. Protection, as Nilly mentioned, for us it's a lot about encryption, which has become a industry standard. Encryption is a means of making sure that the data are basically scrambled, that even if they are breached, they would be unusable to those attackers. And then when you encrypt your data, you actually end up having encryption keys. And the need to control the keys, the need to control the actual data protection, the need to control who has access to all of those, including the data discovery reports, is the third area where we can help customers. So I will now go one by one with the Discover, Protect, Control a little bit more in the detail. Don't worry, I won't overwhelm you with the details. So with the discoveries need to get fast to compliance. If customers don't know where their data is, how would they know what kind of security to apply? How can they prove it to the auditors that all the, for example, GDPR data is protected? So discovery is the first step. And we help to discover both structured and unstructured data on-premise or in the cloud or in the hybrid environment. This can help to build operational efficiency, and most importantly, it can help to find any security gaps that the organizations might have on their data. The solution we provide can help to discover and get visibility of the data across cloud storage, across structured data such as databases or even big data locations, as well as traditional on-premise type of locations like file servers, file shares. Um, Across all of those, it can discover the type of data the organizations would look for example, PCI DSS information, GDPR data, or even intellectual property thanks to its flexibility, and then give organizations the full dashboards and visibility into what was found where, into quite surprising granularity of each specific field. This reporting then helps with compliancy, but it's not just about the visibility. This reporting and the fact that it comes from a particular platform can give customers also the next step, and that's the data remediation, which we can actually provide in automated fashion as well. So the second one, the protect, is about securing the data. If you found that there is a sensitive information on particular location, uh, there is possibility that maybe you would like to delete it, which is also a form of kind of complying to different regulations. However, the data is often needed for the operations, and therefore the protection of the data at rest or in motion would be often achieved by encrypting it or tokenizing it. We help customers to be proactive about it. We help customers to be proactive about the data security before there is even, some event happening. And we can help to unify the data protection across, again, the hybrid IT infrastructure. What we mean by unifying? Let me first start with the simple principle of the data encryption. The first part is reducing the risk on the actual data by encrypting it. So you kind of scramble the information. The encryption is achieved by having a key. Think about it like locking your house. When you leave in the morning, if you are fortunate and not working from home like us today, but if you leave in the morning your home, you lock the house, you end up having a key. The challenge in the market is if you follow just the basic encryption, you often just keep the key with the data. It's like taking the key and putting it under a doormat. So the second step is actually when you lock the key, when you lock the house, make sure that that particular key is decoupled from the data, that it's controlled and owned by yourself or the organizations, and that you have control over both the encryption and the data. This is a basic and principle of data protection, and also this is a way how to gain data sovereignty within the cloud. So when we look at the protection, when we look at encryption, there are typically two main places. It's the data at rest and data in motion. When we look at data at rest, let me decipher it for you a bit, because data actually flows through layers. I will not go into too much details. Please do ask questions if you like, or we can have a kind of more detailed session. But I will just say organizations usually look at protecting the data at different stages in those kind of data layers I mentioned, and all of those qualifies data at rest. It's quite fascinating because all of those would qualify to comply to the external regulations. However, depending on the data sensitivity, you might want to encrypt on the higher levels. So we talk here about the applications themselves. We talk about the databases, file systems, or disks and storage. On each of these levels, we help customers to encrypt the data and control the keys. And we also help them to understand which of these options is the right level for them. The granularity is what really helps them because they can choose the right type of encryption for their environment, for their regulations as well. The second one, data in motion, is a lot about data moving either between traditional infrastructures, like between different data centers, or even between different floors within the same building, as well as data moving to the cloud. We help providing high speed encryption. What that means is you can even encrypt fiber channels, and it does matter because even fiber cables can be actually, bent, and therefore the data can leak. This is to provide high assurance to customers as well, and follow kind of different external regulations for data in motion protection as well. So when the organizations put in their infrastructure the type of encryption they need, if it's from us or even from third parties, then the last step is the control. And the number one is to actually control the keys of the kingdom, making sure that they can simplify and automate the access to them, simplify and automate even the access to the data. We help customers to gain that control. We help them to ensure that the right policies are in place, making sure to enable them to automate the centralized data security, access to centralized key management controls as well. What this means again is helping them to avoid silos. So in the kind of controlling of the keys in the key management, just like with the data, the number one is the visibility. We have organizations that come to us and say, we already have native encryption in the cloud. We already have native encryption on the storage in the databases, but we don't know how many keys are there. We are struggling getting the control and visibility across all of those. So we help with that. We can help them gain the visibility of all the keys across the environment. Number two is then helping them gaining the control of those keys, so giving them key management and enabling them simplified integrations with standard on-premise environments as well as the cloud, enforcing some of the most important best practices on the market, such as the separation of duties. Why this matters? Because if yourself or your customers end up having siloed solutions, so keeping keys in the cloud, keeping keys on the databases, on the storage only, they will face a lot of challenges with gaining the control and the visibility, and not just that, also the management side, the fact that suddenly they need to have 10 people and each of them need to learn a different tool versus having a centralized single pane of glass from which they can, again, discover, protect, and control even those actual keys. So if I should put it all into a context, we help to discover and protect any type of data, whether it's um, following external regulations like GDPR, PCI DSS, or internal one, helping customers to find on their infrastructure intellectual property or other types of sensitive information, and then protect it in the right place. It's not encrypt everything in an easy way and just like one way, but finding the right type of encryption based on the location and the data. We can help with that. We have that's part of my role. um, it can be anywhere, on cloud, on premise, private cloud, in hybrid environments, or in the motion as well, and we can deliver that in any way as well, in sense of on-premise solutions or cloud or hybrid, pure real hybrid environments as well. This way, the challenges we solve is in general protecting the sensitive information, whether it's for regulatory or actually applying the right type of encryption needs. We help customers to accelerate the time to external or internal compliance and simplifying the data security and the encryption as well. Um, I would say that data protection is not as scary as it might look when you start looking into it in the first time. We can really help to make it easier and at the same time help to enforce the best practices on the actual environment. to make sure that you can sleep at night at ease. With that, I will hand over back to Nilly.
Hi again. I hope this all makes sense and you found Romi's presentation useful. And we are excited to learn more about your businesses, your challenges, and help you resolve these issues. So if you would like to get in touch with us, you can see my contact details and my colleague Luke's contact details here on the slides. Please take a moment to make a note. And feel free to contact either myself or Luke to set up a security consultation and explore how Thales can help you achieve your goals.